President Cyril Ramaphosa is hosting his Angolan counterpart, President João Lourenço, in Pretoria this morning. The two leaders will take part in a business forum later today to focus on building stronger partnerships and boosting trade and investment between our two countries. This visit comes as South Africa begins its year-long G20 presidency with a promise to use the platform to promote trade and economic growth across Africa. Veronica Mkhwadi is at the Union Buildings and joins us now live. We can perhaps talk in a later crossing, Veronica, about the opportunities to enhance trade and investment between our two countries. It's high on the agenda because total bilateral trade between South Africa and Angola was more than 13.5 billion rand in 2023. But I know you're standing by with the International Relations Minister, so I'll let you get on with that conversation.
Well, thanks, Iman. Of course, as you've mentioned, the president is getting ready to host his Angolan counterpart in what will be a full state visit with all the ceremonial bells and whistles. The program is expected to kick off just before 10 o'clock, where it will start with that traditional 21-gun salute, of course, and the formal guard of honor to mark the significance of this occasion. But as you've mentioned, the two leaders are expected to participate in a business forum later today, where they will speak about the need to enhance that trade and investment. This, of course, comes as Angola remains one of South Africa's key trading partners in Africa, but also as we've seen a lot of prominent companies as well with a significant presence in Angola. But of course, this conversation, this state visit does go beyond the issue of trade and, of course, boosting economic growth for both nations. It's all encompassing, and I'm joined, as you've mentioned, with the Minister, International Relations Minister Ronald Lamola. Thank you so much for your time. I think first and foremost, in regards to the visit today, let's take a walk back into the relationship between Angola and South Africa, a deep historic legacy between the two nations, yes?
Indeed, you will know, even during the fight against apartheid, Angola contributed significantly. And it was at the Battle of Puerto Carnaval where the apartheid defense force was defeated. And this sent a very clear message that apartheid can be defeated. And it was now a signal and a shifting tipping point that helped to end apartheid in our country. And this was done in solidarity with the Cuban revolutionary forces. If you go to Angola's museum today, you will find the artillery of the defense force that was left there when they were retreating. Even some of the uniform and so forth that was left by our retreating defense force from South Africa. So that is a clear, significant, important aspect of the role that Angola played, housing Umkhonto weSizwe, but not only Umkhonto weSizwe, including Frelimo, the forces from Namibia that were also housed in Angola during the struggle. But that relationship had to grow after democracy, where we now had signed relations for the two countries to strengthen the bilateral relations of the two countries with a number of state visits, PNC. And today we are here to review, to see how far we have gone since democracy of South Africa, and also since the re-establishment of these bilateral relations.
Yeah, certainly, Minister. And I think that's the next question. I mean, what are some of the key areas of collaboration that both nations will be focusing on during this state visit?
The first one that will be focused on is the one we spoke about, the Heritage Liberation Route. Yeah. We will sign an agreement in relations to that history, including the reparations of some of the fallen heroes from Angola. We will also sign relations to education, exchange of knowledge. We will also engage on a number of issues of trade between the two countries. These are the two biggest economies in the SADC region. We need to do more to trade together on a number of aspects, the Lobido corridor, on minerals, on oil, on the various issues, agriculture, on the various aspects of the economy. And we also have to engage on geopolitical issues. As you are aware, Angola will be taking over the chairship of the African Union. They are very strategic in the continent in that regard, and we want to work and support their role. And we are also currently supporting their role on the Luanda process with regards to the conflict in the DRC. President Lourenço is the mediator, appointed by the AU as a champion. And we will also engage on the situation in Mozambique, the post-elections violence that we have to help resolve, mediate with our counterparts in Mozambique. The situation, as you are aware, in the border. This also impacts Angola itself because they are also linked culturally, economically, and politically with Mozambique. So we are concerned, as we always say, to call for the communities to exercise restraint and peace and allow the Constitutional Council of Mozambique to make a ruling. But in the meantime, law and order must be maintained, and obviously within the parameters of human rights, and ensure that there is political engagement between all the parties and find a long-lasting solution for the people of Mozambique. So indeed, there will be a number of issues that will be engaged.
And of course, we are now having this state visit at a time where the country, where President Cyril Ramaphosa has taken the helm of the G20. There is a lot of conversation about how he will use this platform to drive some of the interests on the African continent. In any way, where will Angola, feature in regards to his role in the G20?
Yeah, indeed, as I've said, President Lourenço will be taking over as the chair of the AU. The AU is now a full member of the G20. So he will be leading the African perspective in the G20. And as we have already said, the issues of critical minerals, most of them are found in the African continent. So this is an important engagement between the two countries, that how do we then shape the debate so that value add, the African continent benefits from this revolution on critical minerals, issues of artificial intelligence, how we position the African continent endowed with very young generation in terms of innovation, artificial intelligence, and also obviously issues of climate change, who are the most affected. So all these issues will be part of the discussion and how we continue to shape and support the role of Angola as the chair, the AU, and also their support as we are president of the G20. This will be mutually beneficial.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Minister Lamola. That was International Relations Minister Ronald Lamola. They're speaking about what will hopefully be tangible outcomes coming out of the state visit today between South Africa and Angola, speaking about the preservation of the history and heritage between the two nations, speaking, of course, about the main factor, which will be trade and opportunities between the Southern African economic giants, one might say, but also one cannot ignore the instability happening in the Republic of Congo as well as Mozambique, speaking about the fact that these two the state visit happens while there is definitely that concern in regards to the stability of the region. And so the two leaders then are not able to ignore that and needing to find a way forward in terms of peace for the betterment really of the African continent as well. We are expecting, as I've mentioned, for the program to kick off just before 10 o'clock. And of course, the main conversation we'll be looking forward to is that business forum.